Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
The AI revolution is here. We all know it, and we know we have to use automation in our service businesses because our competition is doing it. We have Curt Kempton, the founder of ResponsiveBid, on the Untrapped Podcast right now. He's a good friend of mine. I'm so honored. And Curt he built and sold his own service business and then built the best marketing automation software platform that plugs into your favorite CRM, like it plugs into Jobber. And literally you can sell and close jobs while you sleep with the software called ResponsiveBid. And he's had invested, I don't know how much time, energy, and money in years and years. Ever since I've known you, you've been doing ResponsiveBid. It's been like, how many years have you been doing this?
Oh, man, over 10 now.
Over 10 years. And bro, can you talk about, I just want to get right into the meat and potatoes. What are lead sources? And if somebody is maybe in their first 1 to maybe even 5 years in their service business and they want to get, their sales and marketing dialed in, their funnel to understand, and they're like, what do I spend money, or how do I market and advertise? How do I know what's going to work and what isn't? What's going to generate the most amount of leads and close the most amount of work? Can you clarify some of that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And actually, it's funny. I don't think enough people actually really think about that question or the implications. So if you imagine your business, it generates money, what people refer to at the bottom of the funnel. So what is the funnel I'm referring to? The funnel represents your sales process. Basically the top, the big area of the funnel at the top, that is all the potential people who have raised their hand and said, I might want to do business with you. So if you had a store, it would be all the people who walked through the door of that store, even if they're window shopping, those are all opportunities. If you have a store with a window front, anyone who's walking by the front of your store, they're not a lead because they never actually put themselves into that raise their hand position. So someone visiting your website, they did not enter your funnel. They only interacted with marketing. They never had an opportunity to intersect with the sales process. So the top of the funnel is, you asked about the term lead sources. So who is throwing stuff into the top of your lead funnel? When I started my cleaning company, the first thing I ever used was a company called Money Mailer. I knew that I got those coupons in the mail. I saw stuff in it all the time. So I called the number for Money Mailer and I said, what would it take for me to get in your envelope? And they charged me, I want to say like $500 to be in a buttload of envelopes as long as I provided for them my coupon. So I sent them the money. I sent them my ad, and then they sent out an envelope with marketing in it. And every time someone called that number into my business, they became a lead. They went into the top of my funnel. Now, does that guarantee they're going to come to the bottom of my funnel? Does that mean they're going to spend money with me? No, it does not. It means that I spent money to just get someone to raise their hand. And you do that on AdWords. If you spend money trying to get your business to organically rank better on Google or, social media or whatever, all of those effort pieces that you're putting in, they come at a cost, but maybe not a financial cost. Maybe it's an opportunity cost or just the time of your time costs. But either way, we spend a lot of time trying to get in front of a lot of people. I remember I did a marketing campaign once that completely flopped. Didn't send me one lead, but I paid I want to say it was like $2,000 to be at a golf course. They had a sign, this whole sponsored by sign, and I had my cleaning company on it thinking, hey, your wife is at home. Call this number and get a quote for window cleaning so that your wife can be happy with you out golfing. I never got a single lead off of that. I thought it was a really good idea, but I spent money and never got any leads, let alone sales. So everyone listening to this probably knows, okay, I get the idea of a lead source. I'm spending money on lead sources. But I don't think many people could tell you off the top of their head, this lead source sent me this many leads. They converted at this rate. The average ticket price of a lead from this lead source results in this many dollars per job, or this many dollars in total over this period of time. So in the case of the golf one, it was really easy to calculate. I got 0 leads. So I didn't even have a close rate to measure, and I didn't have any average ticket prices to measure, and I didn't have any total dollars work to measure. But with Money Mailer, let's say I got 10 leads, I closed 50% of them, and the average ticket price of those jobs was, say, $500. You could actually decide with that information available to you when Money Mailer calls you next month and says, hey, we're getting ready to put together another envelope. You want to be able to say, like, if I give you $500, it looks like you're going to give me back $2,500 in jobs, and I'm not going to have to give 1 million free estimates to just get 2 of them to close. Like, these are good customers that spend good money and close pretty easily. So that's good. But if the local arts center calls and says, hey, we want you to sponsor the next ballet, and we're going to charge you this much to hand a flyer to everybody who walks in. Okay, that's cool. Let's measure it. What if I did 40 leads and I closed 2 of them, and the average ticket price was $800 a piece? Now we got a little tougher thing. Like, okay, they have a high average ticket price, but I did have to give 40 estimates. And what does that mean to you? Is that just over the phone? Did you have to go drive? Like, you know what giving a quote costs for your company, like how much effort goes into it. So now you have information to say, yes, high ticket price, very low close rate, lots and lots of work to go out and get those.
Your customer acquisition cost could be more than just money.
That's right.
There's a cost to it.
There is. And so when you think about your lead sources, if you think about them in terms of effort and in terms of return on investment and in terms of like the average job size, those are all factors that you can put in, not just to decide if you're going to redo it, but maybe it's worth negotiating. So next time when the arts center calls up and says, we have a ballet in town, you go, I really appreciate you letting me do this. Let me tell you, we have kind of an ROI thing around here, and last time was not quite there. If we could advertise for $200, it'd be worth it to me. And I can tell you that number off the top of my head really easily because I just know what it is. Because you would be able to negotiate now from a position of power or knowledge, as opposed to most people who are just working off their gut.
Let me tell you something most service business owners never realize. You're spending money on Google Ads, Facebook, maybe SEO, maybe yard signs or flyers, but you have no idea which marketing is actually making your phone ring. That's where CallRail comes in. CallRail is call tracking software that shows you exactly which marketing source generated each phone call. So instead of guessing where your leads came from, you actually know. And when you know what's working, you can double down on it and grow your business faster. If you want to try it, go to keithkalfas.com/callrail. That's keithkalfas.com/CALLRAIL.
So you start to track these things, but one of the good news is once you get a customer, you can turn them into a client and then get referrals from them. So it's like an engine. But if you track all this stuff, how would you even track it?
Well, it's a nightmare to do it by hand. But yeah, as long as every quote that comes into your system, I know on ResponsiveBid, we just do it automatically. Every single quote that comes in, we track where it came from, and then we give you that number on a platter. We just tell you what it is. Now your CRM might have a report you could run. So the reports that you'd be looking for is close rate by lead source, average ticket price by lead source. Those two numbers are really, really important. Now, total leads by lead source should be part of both of those reports, I would hope, but that's an important factor as well. Like if you only got one job and it was $1,000 job, you might be tricking yourself into thinking, oh my gosh, this lead source gives me big old fat jobs. Well, it gave you one and nothing else, which, that is data, but one data point's really hard to make a decision from.
So lead sources can be like Google Maps, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Angie's List. If I don't think Home Advisor even exists, but I'm just going down like the list. Walk-ups, referrals, flyers, door hangers, bandit signs, like all these different things are lead sources. Like I remember ResponsiveBid last time I looked told me that 83% of all my leads from the lead sources, like the funnel, it shows coming from Google, Google
that's big.
Maps.
So I would actually tell you that that's another really important piece of data. You may need to be looking at diversification. Yeah. You don't want all your leads coming from one place. That puts you in a real position of, it moves you from a farmer to a hunter, which is cool because you know what part of the woods or what, where your fishing hole's at. The problem is that if they start charging you some unreasonable amount of money, or for whatever reason they blacklisted you or whatever, then you are up a creek without a paddle, which you obviously don't want.
My friend's Google Maps business location he's had up for 12 years just got suspended, and he doesn't know why, and it's this common thing. But luckily his is flipped. 80% of his business comes from Facebook, and only 20% from Google, so he's not too worried at the moment. But
what happens when Facebook does it? You know what? Facebook actually, that's funny you say it. Facebook banned ResponsiveBid's ad page. We have to run our ads from a page called ResponsiveBid Info, which isn't even a real, it's a real page, but we don't do anything on it. But we have to run all of our ads from it. Why? Because we participated in hate speech. So I was like, oh, that's funny. When we got hate speech, we're like, oh, that's funny. So I sent them a message and I said, I'd like to appeal this because I'd like you to tell me what we said that was hate speech. Literally 30 seconds after I replied that email, thinking this is just some weird, funny misunderstanding. The next one is, you are permanently banned. The appeal is closed. Thank you for reaching out. I have no say. So anyway, I'm just saying, Meta has the same exact ability to just drop the hammer. So that's why we do want to look. People are on digital. Google is important. Don't ever trick yourself into thinking, oh no, I'm getting a significant stuff from Google. What are you supposed to do? That's a big lead source. It's important. But paid ads versus organic ads, that would be important to pay attention to. I like that your friend is getting stuff from Facebook in addition to Google. And then the other question is organic versus paid on Facebook or Meta. And then there's Instagram versus Facebook. And then, like you mentioned, TikTok. But what other kinds of channels could you open up just to make sure that nobody's got you by the short hairs,
This is so critically important, because think of, we're making good money in the business. Let's upgrade our lifestyle, honey. We're getting a new house. We're getting, it's of course you can get the Range Rover, and all of a sudden the hammer drops and you're joking.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, you're putting a lot of faith. People talk about faith, I don't know if you're a spiritual, actually, I do know you're a religious guy. What am I talking about? We're friends. Listener, I don't know if you're spiritual or religious, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of people out there I don't have faith in anyone except for myself. Well, this is the perfect example of you have so much faith in Mark Zuckerberg, you don't even understand, right? Your buddy that has the big portion of his leads coming in, he gets on his knees every day and prays to Mark Zuckerberg. Now I'm being a little over the top here. My point is that he doesn't feed his family if Mark Zuckerberg doesn't bring him back his leads. And if you think of it that way, there is a little, even though I'm going over the top and I'm being, a little facetious, I still want you to sit and think for a second. How much are you depending upon any other one person? How much control over your business are you giving out? And if you just look at it that way, you may want to change something about your business. Don't stop getting leads there if you're doing it ethically and good. Keep going. Just see if you can balance it a little bit.
You need to build your customer list and have a great relationship with all your customers, name, address, email, phone number, all that stuff. Send them Christmas cards or whatever, however you do it, to make sure you're always on top of mind. And wow.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking about, actually, I think about this all the time. For instance, let's say you have a YouTube channel and it gets shut down for some reason. To me, I went diversification by desperation, and I spread myself too thin. I don't understand how people put their eggs in one basket. So I did that in the service business in the beginning by offering way too many services. And so with all these different lead sources, I'll get back on the topic. How does somebody know how to identify what to double down or triple down on? How does that work then?
Yeah. So if it's working, and you're throwing gasoline on a fire with something, you double down on it. You maybe even you triple down. But what that's going to require when you throw gasoline on a fire is that it means your operation is going to grow, which means that it's a teeter-totter, right? So you get more work than you can handle, so you buy another truck, get more people going. And this is sometimes it's a slower teeter-totter. Like, I don't want to make it sound like this is a fire that overnight something is going to be so dramatic that you're buying trucks every day, or even every month. But over a season, you might decide that you've thrown so much gas on it that you got to do 1 or 2 extra trucks, or maybe you could even double your business in a season. Like, especially when you're smaller, it's easy to double. But you keep an eye on that graph, because if you've doubled down to the point where your operation is more than half on any one lead source, at that point, probably stop doubling down, because your operation is becoming too dependent on that. And maybe start putting some energy into double or triple. Like, you want to have,
it's like all your fruit hanging off of one heavy olive branch that's like it could snap and all the fruit could drop. It should grow evenly and disperse and have deep roots.
Now, I know people would fight me on that, and it's a good debate to have. I would actually be willing to debate this topic with someone, but what I would say is that 2 to 3 lead sources. If you're between that 33 to 50% range of your leads coming from one lead source, that's a heavily invested, hopefully very successful lead source. That's good. And as long as the ROI on that lead source is good, return on investment's good, then that's pretty good. Once you cross over that 50% line, you start moving towards 60 and 75%. You actually should probably start feeling a little nervous. And there, again, really aggressive people out there might say, no, if it's working, you just keep feeling it. Worry about it later. Move fast, break stuff. That's how it works. But the problem is we're playing with people's, like, your employees and your trucks and stuff, like their livelihoods. And that's where I get a little more conservative. And I would say, okay, you figure out the recipe here. It's working good. Let's see if we can convert that recipe into something that works on another channel pretty good. And you already brought up something that I think is also quite valuable. You have a list of your own customers. Maybe you have some community social media pages that you're on. And don't forget that recouping, whether it be through repeat business or whether it be through referral business, that can be another arm. And that's an arm that when it's double, when you're over the 50% line on that, everyone says, I'm all referral business. Yeah, really? What percent is it? Well, I don't really know. So you're not all referral business, because if you're not doing anything intentionally. If you're doing it intentionally, you're measuring it, you know what it is. So I always tell people that tell me they're referral business, like, unless you can actually specifically spell it out, like, I don't believe you. But that's what I would say, is that that's the one branch that you can allow to get a little out of hand, because you have such a good referral program that it works all the time. I just know people are fickle. People are fickle. So, but if it's paid ads of any kind, or if it depends on someone else's technology, even organic, like Google ads, organic Google search versus Google ads. Like, if you've got 30% coming in through paid search, and then you got another, or paid Google search, and then you got another 30% coming in through organic Google search, and then you had another 33% coming in through referral, that's a very healthy business. Like, you're not beholden to anybody. You're going to do so great. That's awesome. Just make sure you're operating ethically, because if Google decides to change something, obviously it can affect you. But traditionally, Google only punishes people who are doing things on the less than savory side.
All right, real quick, I want to tell you about something that honestly blew my mind. If you run a landscaping business, pressure washing, window cleaning, or really any home service business, you already know how important your website is. But most guys either have a terrible website, or they paid some designer thousands of dollars and it still doesn't bring them any leads. That's why I partnered with a company called Rebolt. Rebolt uses AI to actually build and optimize your website so it ranks on Google and helps you show up when customers search in your area. We're talking about professional website design built for local SEO and optimized to help you show up in the Google 3-pack. This is not one of those junk AI website builders. These guys are legit. If you want to check it out, go to keithkalfas.com/Rebolt. That's keithkalfas.com/rebolt, REBOLT. Go see what they built. It's seriously impressive.
So you might like get a lot of people are finding you on Google Maps and seeing your positive reviews and they're calling, but it means you might also want to get good at running Facebook ads, but also some postcard marketing, get good at like a few different things to make sure you understand how to get leads and get business coming in. So if one of those gets cut, all of a sudden you're not bleeding out, that you have these other arms out there. Like it's like a...
Yeah, Monty Python, like the guy guarding the bridge. Yes, I would say this though. If you have like really good reviews and that's bringing you a lot of leads, you might say, well, that's safe. That's super organic. Well, we already know that like Google can shut down Google My Business like tonight, and you know that they probably won't, but if they did, like that would be pretty negative for you. But you have all those reviews that you could use to make postcards with. You could use to make email campaigns with. So we're rolling out a service, or it's that time of year for whatever service to be performed. So here's a cool couple testimonials / reviews that I could use to bake in it. So that's another thing about a successful arm of your business is that, you know, I'm telling you to be conservative and try to spread the love around, but don't forget that you can use that learning or that information. If you know that a specific ad is working really good on Google Ads, well, by all means, take the copy of that ad and throw it over into Meta, or throw it into maybe a group, like a neighborhood community group, if they'll let you post stuff like that.
Bro, that's got us millions and millions of hits on social media. Is at least once a year, I'll comb through everything we posted on all platforms, and I'll reorganize it by what got the highest ROI. And there it is. I just take it, boom. It's called reposting your winners. And then those again become the biggest hit, and they'll hit a whole completely different audience. And so it's like you're recycling 80-20. Well, actually, it's the top, depending on what you post, like the best stuff. So if you have all these lead sources and you have something that's working here that really works, it might be able to transfer over or cross-pollinate and work over here.
Yeah, that's right. And
So
actually, I don't have to tell you this because you're a YouTube. In fact, you actually might have been the one who told me this, because I don't really know a lot about YouTube. But I guess Mr. Beast or what are these other like really popular YouTubers do is like when they first launch a video with a thumbnail on it, they like change it 2 or 3 times. And then when the one that wins, that's the one that stays on it basically forever, or the title of the video, right? Am I right about that?
Well, they've taken it to a crazy new level now. They're taking the thumbnails and titles, and I don't know where they're running it, but they're literally spending money running it as ads and judging the click-through rates, impressions, click-through rates, and of what thumbnails and titles are getting the highest amount of conversions. And so they're spending money to test which will even be the thumbnail and title for their video before they even post it live organically for free. So they're investing money into the organic content to see what is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I wonder what platform they're able to get people to click on to learn that ahead of time, because that is the thing, right? Like when you know something worked over there, there's a pretty good chance it'll work over here.
Because human psychology and emotions, that's the same. So imagine creating, 32 or 64 different iterations of something and then picking the best possible one. That's what you name your video and make the thumbnail. So when you do make it go live on the best possible hour of the best possible day, the highest amount of people are going to click and watch it. And then with the amount of watch time delivering on the promise, or if people are coming into your funnel through your lead source and you've done the marketing math and the due diligence and you understand what customers want, then they'll come and you use preeminence to position yourself as the obvious choice. So they don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not talking. I get excited now. Start talking too much. You're the guest, bro.
Well, I don't know if you have a question for me. One thing you mentioned just got me thinking a little bit. Sales funnels. I talked about putting leads at the top and then money comes out the bottom when they buy. Yeah. I think there's a couple of things to just pay attention to, and maybe we should just quickly touch on this topic. That is that when a lead comes in, you from that point forward control that customer experience. Now, if you do nothing, they're still having an experience, right? Like if someone sends a web form in or calls and leaves a voicemail, whatever voicemail they heard, you controlled that. However fast you called them back, you control that. Whatever you said when you called them back, you control that. If you're not teaching someone what to say, but just tell them to return messages, whatever they say, you are not taking control of that, but you hired the person, so therefore you control that. And however many times you email them, what the quote looks like that you give them, however many things are on the quote that you give them, when they don't purchase and you continue to follow up or not follow up with them, you control all of that. And so if someone says you're really responsive, overly responsive, they say that you are a good value or not a good value, when they say that you are a customer service company who just happens to do X, you're in control of the experience that the person's having based off of what you have systematized or automated. And all of that is inside the funnel. That's the part, that's the cogs, that's the stuff that's all working in there. And it's either progressing things forward or it's maybe literally ejecting people out the top, if you think about it. If someone calls you during business hours on a Thursday and you call them back after business hours on a Wednesday, nearly a week later, you gave them a customer experience. I would be willing to bet that, and even worse, if you don't call them back, I would be willing to bet that customer experience is not going to result in any work, nor any referrals, nor, spending whatever money you spent to get that lead in a wise way. So that's probably a good message for us to talk about tonight as well, just to make sure that we're sort of laying it out there that you have to put together the experience you want your customers to have, and you have to systematize it in a way to guarantee that they're going to get it every time. Otherwise, some customers are out there saying, wow, what a great company. And other ones are like, this company sucks. And you know why? It's because you're inconsistent. So you got to be consistent to be good. Inconsistency in any fashion will end up resulting in poor customer experience.
So you can get excited about your business again and start to run it like a scientist.
That's right. A mad scientist.
A mad scientist. All right. Can you tell us all about ResponsiveBid and what it does and how it works?
I created a group called the Untrapped Alliance where we go live every other Wednesday night in a controlled environment. I'm sick of scrolling on social media. I'm sure you are too. Let's get focused on our businesses. We already started the group, so if you join at keithkalfas.com/alliance, you can get access to the replays. And the bonus is we're going to have special guest experts who run multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. They're going to come on and teach us how to do sales, marketing, persuasion, close higher ticket jobs. These are people who got their shit together. And I'm really excited to have them on. Go to keithkalfas.com/alliance. I'll see you on the Wednesday night call. Let's go.
Yeah, ResponsiveBid is a sales automation system that basically turns specifications of a job into really compelling proposals. So it's basically two things. It helps customers to close at higher rates because it positions all of your sales process to be good, better, best, and people are more likely to say yes to these compelling proposals. And it also closes people at a higher dollar amount. And that is because people typically will upsell themselves. No one wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy. And ResponsiveBid helps you to be able to close more jobs at higher average ticket prices because these proposals will help people to see value propositions, envision their life with those value propositions, and then finally attach whatever dollars it takes to make that happen. Most people, your competitors, are all selling the opposite of that. They're all saying, you want a house wash? It's $200. All right. Well, what does my life look like? And, is it worth $200? Well, I don't know, because you didn't give me any value proposition and you didn't really explain to me what my life would look like with that house wash. But we help people to sort of see, we remove everything from the house, grime wise, just like every other company, but we also make sure that all your plants are protected. We make sure that maybe have a package that offers a wax at the end to help prevent future mold growth in this particular climate, or whatever it may be. This one includes gutter whitening with it. This one doesn't. This one includes a roof cleaning with it. And people can start to see like the difference of just what it would be to just buy a house wash. And people, when they're given options, are much more likely to say yes, and to a higher dollar amount.
I know myself on my phone, I get emails. John Jones is ready to book his $449 window cleaning because he went on my website, clicked how many windows he had with ResponsiveBid software, and it's like he's ready to book. And I was at a live event, and somebody was like, during the live event, they use ResponsiveBid, your software, and they closed something like a $3,800 job, and they weren't there doing anything because it was fully automated on the front end of their website. So this is the future, bro.
Yeah. Well, and I know that there's a lot of people who want to sell in person. Our software works for people in person. All the follow-up that goes out before and after an in-person quote or an over the phone quote, website quote, all that is engineered to bring all those experiences into one. It's the same reason that like some people want to go through the self-checkout line at the grocery store. Other people want to go through and work with a human. But at the end of the day, same barcodes are being scanned, there's consistency, right? And that's what a system does, is it provides the experience that the customer needs to have with the consistency that you need to provide as a company.
So ResponsiveBid has helped a lot of service business owners make a lot of money.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. That's amazing, bro. I've been a ResponsiveBid affiliate for years now. You can go to keithkalfas.com/resources. Scroll down, you'll see ResponsiveBid, and you can go there and sign up and try it in your business. Is there anything else, Curt?
And you get a discount. If you buy it from my buddy Keith, not only do you get a great piece of software from a great guy, but you get a discount on it, and you support a show. So that's awesome.
That's amazing. So, and wrapping up, Curt, anything else you want to say about automating the sales and marketing in your business? Any mind bombs?
I don't know that I have any mind bombs, but I just want to say, man, if you guys are listening to Keith, just keep with it, guys. The fight is real. The fight is worth it. And maybe you can't get 100% better today, but if you can get like 0.5% or 1% better today, right? And I think that's what Keith has sort of dedicated his life to, is helping people to just polish off the edges. And the funny thing about sanding off the edges is that, each stroke of the sandpaper might not be super impressive, but if you just stay at it, you can really make some beautiful stuff. And I think that's what you guys are doing here.
That was amazing. That is very true. Keep going, keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when you don't feel like it. And you'll look, I always say there's this version of you who's figured it out and has what you want, that's saying, come on, keep going, you got this. And you just keep walking the line. And then you end up in that place one day and you're just in tears because your life is, these blessings have come to fruition because you had faith and you kept walking the walk. Yeah. And you either, whatever it is for you, those dreams are absolutely real if they're placed in your heart. If God placed them in your heart, they can actually absolutely come true. So thanks for being on Untrapped Podcast, Curt Kempton, and for you listeners that I so much appreciate. We're crossing 1 million downloads right now. I'm so thankful. And please go take 20 seconds, whatever platform you're on, please leave the show a well-worded review so it boosts the rankings. And I appreciate you so much, and see you on the next show. Thanks, Curt.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.